Pride goeth before a fall, as the good book said, and authors and creators are not known to be fairly low on that resource. So, in order to avoid getting scammed out of money, time, and possibly even your precious book scripts, take a listen. Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams. Guess who just got sent what is with almost pure certainty a scam email? This one preys on author pride and confidence, a plentiful resource to be sure, and certainly an exploitable weakness. When I got the email, it immediately jumped out to me as a scam. But when I went to Google it online, I couldn't find this exact scam, but the concept, a fake email account claiming to be from some movie company or another, offering to option one of your books for a movie, turns out to be a well-known scam. And that is exactly what this was. Now, before I get into the details, let's talk about what you should do when you receive an email that's either suspicious or too good to be true. The first thing you want to do is go and click on... not click. Do not click. Hover your mouse over the address for the email, and it will show you the address. This address was actually pretty legitimate. It just said like marketing department or outreach department or something, but it was very, very generic. It did not have the actual name of the company the email was claiming to represent. And of course, as I read through the email, the offer was too good to be true. This was a very large company that specializes in more independent works. They don't do the big IPs, so it's feasible, just barely feasible, that they could have contacted me. But they said that my book was approved to be made into a screenplay. Now here's another suspicious part, other than just being too good to be true. They didn't specify which book, and they didn't say anything about why they wanted it. This was clearly a form letter. And I am sure that these companies get far, far too many applicants who come in and sell themselves vigorously to actually be hunting around for random authors. So, what is the scam if, after all they're asking for is a PDF of your book? Well, there is another scam out there. There are various articles, the friend sent them to me, where they literally are just out to steal the manuscripts of upcoming authors. No one knows where they're selling them. This has been a fairly recent phenomenon, but there have been multiple authors who have been approached by people who claim to be their agent, who claim to be publishing companies, who claim to be editors that they worked with, and they ask for the manuscript document, and when the author sends the manuscript document, they don't hear back. And one author contacted her agent, who she thought had requested it, and the agent is like, dude, I never requested it. We don't request the manuscript in that manner. And so there are actually companies out there who totally will steal your manuscript using this technique. And this email was asking for a PDF of my manuscript, but that's not where the primary scam is. What the primary scam is, they make you pay. They tell you that you have to pay fees for licensing. Which, if you're an author who's never worked in the industry, you've heard, oh yeah, I've heard about that. I need to make sure that I have all the rights to my work, and so you pay fees to they give you the links. You pay the fees to these agencies, and you start shilling it. You're so excited your book is finally going to be a movie, and there's a big company going to do it, and you fork over $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in fees before you realize that they're just milking you for money. A big company is not going to make you pay to have your work adapted into a movie. If it's a big company, they will pay you a very significant amount of money for the option. Probably not enough options. Options are notorious for not giving you enough money for tying up your book for several years, but they will give you money. They will not ask you to pay money. So, check the actual email address, not what it says in the handle, but the actual email address. Does it look legit? Is it specific, stating the name of the company in the dot whatever section, and not just a vague email? And is it not some random string of numbers? Then Is it logical that this company would be approaching you? If they're a company with any status, probably not. And then finally, are they asking you to send them a manuscript without signing an NDA or something like that? And are they asking you to pay any money? Those are the 4 big red flags here. And of course, when you try to get your money back, the company disappears and never existed. And of course, the real studio that the company was billing itself under has never heard of you. However, there's a new scam there's that new scam where people are stealing manuscripts. So don't be willing to hand out your manuscript to anyone without making them sign an NDA, and never give your manuscript to somebody until you have that manuscript registered with the Library of Congress. Of course, that is USA specific, but Anyway, let me read you the exact email that I got. Oh, and of course, the 5th red flag is in a creative industry and with native English speakers being full of grammatical mistakes. Dear Betty, where talent meets success, equity, diversity, inclusion, and social responsibility are both moral and business imperatives. A good organization understands that addressing fundamental concerns of equity and justice is not only the rational thing to do, but also the rational thing to do. Aside, it's not only the rational thing to do, but also the rational thing to do. I think this might have actually been written by ChatGPT. Anyway, I'm continuing reading the email. We consider advocacy and inclusion to be fundamental components of our success, and our approach to these critical topics is built in how we address our employees, programs, content, suppliers, and community. This is what we call, kids, stepping out of the email again, this is what we call a buzzword salad. It's also a red flag. They're not saying anything. If you summarize this entire paragraph, it would be, we try to be good people. This is not if somebody was actually trying to contact you for a business reply, they get down to brass tacks much sooner than this. Anyway, back to the email. We'd like to notify your agency that your book has been chosen as one of the content titles that we'd want to adapt into a film. See, completely vague. They don't mention what the book is. They call my agency when in reality I don't have an agency. I don't have an agent, and any research into me would have showed them that. And they use a very, very vague term such as content titles. Then they get into something to make it more plausible. As a result of our collaboration with Netflix, we'd like to tell your office that we are offering you a contract for film rights acquisition as one of our pioneering projects. Now, this again is a red flag, but it wouldn't have been a few months ago. Netflix is cutting dramatically the new stuff they're making. And so it's much less likely in this particular month of this particular year that Netflix would be reaching out to lower level authors like me. But, they were doing that kind of stuff just a few months ago for the past several years. So be careful. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. All right, back to the scam. The budget and production team are now prepared for the project to begin. The film's production budget has been approximated by the promoter. Please keep in mind that the author will be under contract with our organization, Icon Productions. Any information concerning this project will be subject to the contract's non-disclosure provision. Again, all very vague, and they're locking you down not to talk about this to anybody. To get a quick transition, you will be necessary to handle all license, permissions, registrations, and signing of papers only with Icon Productions as the author representing the rights owner and Icon Productions as the acquirer. Bad grammar. You will be necessary. That's not legal speak. And you'll be necessary to handle all licenses. They're going to make you pay a bunch of money. That is the ultimate big red flag. A separate contract will be completed and agreed upon both your agency and Icon Productions. Such bad grammar. Upon confirmation, we will deliver the papers together with the film agreement to your office. We would be requiring you to send the following materials: soft copy or PDF format of your manuscript, cinematic trailer. Okay, so this, you can't see it, but there's no period at the end of the sentence. And they're asking you to send you the manuscript before before you get them to sign an NDA. And even if they make you sign an NDA, that doesn't mean they're not going to just turn around and sell your manuscript to some hack streaming screenwriter who doesn't have enough creativity to make something that competes on the market. All right. Note: any communications as regards this endorsement should only be between your office and Icon Productions. Any unsolicited emails or calls from the writer-author will not be entertained by Icon Productions. And this is important. They're isolating you, making sure you don't go try to contact the company to see if this is legitimate. The writer shall not at any time, directly or indirectly, disseminate, duplicate, or in any other manner disclose any information of any kind dealing with or any way relating to the development, production, or exploitation of the films as stipulated in the acquisition agreement signed by our legal representative. That you acknowledge and agree that the confidential information derives independent economic value from not being generally known to the public or other persons who can obtain economic value from its disclosure or use. That sounds like legalese, but I'm pretty sure it's just grammatical nonsense. You acknowledge that any breach, either by your agency or the writer in respect to the confidential information, will cause irreparable injury to the producer, not readily measurable in money, and for which producer, without waiving any other rights or remedies, shall be entitled to... And it ends there. Okay, they put the real name of the CEO of Icon Productions, which is a real company here, but I removed it because you guys don't need to know that. They put the real physical address of the company here. I actually Googled this. They actually went and found the physical address of Icon Productions, and I didn't want to put that out there into the ether, so I removed that. The content of this email is confidential and intended for the recipient specified in the message only. It is strictly forbidden to share any part of this message with any third party without the written consent of the sender. If you receive this message by mistake, please reply to this message and follow with its deletion so that we can ensure such a mistake does not occur in the future. Okay, so obviously it's full of bad grammar trying to hide itself as legalese. It takes one of the smaller major companies and says that they're choosing your book, but they don't specify which book. They don't say anything about what the book is. It's like what the Bart Simpson book review. There is absolutely no evidence in this email that they have any idea what kind of books I write, or that they've read, or that they've even looked at the glance of the titles of my books. The phrasing is so awkward, and the repetition of certain words makes this truly look like a ChatGPT script. But the fact that it doesn't mention any, and just, again, the fact that it doesn't mention any specific book is probably very fishy. But the real clue, the ultimate red flag, is that it's asking me to pay fees, and it's asking for my manuscript without first them signing a NDA from me, from my attorney, saying that they can't use the book. So in addition, there is another element here very specific to my stories. My stories involves aliens on alien planets, space whales in space, shape-shifting living crystal aliens. The stories would be, by their very nature, very effects-heavy sci-fi full-length movies. So any interest in turning my books into movies, which I am not completely without hopes of, but it would have to be from a fairly well-funded company who knows what they were doing, and they would definitely be approaching me with a more personal level than this. I'd probably get a call from somebody, hey, or a personal email with enough nouns in it specifically relevant to my book that I would be able to tell that they'd actually at least had an understanding of the physical limitations of the characters. You don't have a 2-story tall glowing crystal bear and just animate and just send out a mass email trying to get the rights to it. But anyway, don't click on any suspicious links. Do not send your manuscripts to anyone without making them sign an NDA. I've gotten burned on that. And don't foot the bill to turn your book into a movie. If you're asked to pay any sort of fees to publish your work, just don't. If a legitimate studio wants your book, they will be paying you and not having you drop money on licenses and such. And you will be able to tell from the email that they have actually at least either read the material or are aware of whether your aliens are going to require expensive effects. So I just wanted to get the word out there. I will be posting this as a blog post. It's not my usual Friday content, but I will be traveling this Friday, November 3rd. And I just wanted to get this out there as a public service announcement. I will see you guys later. Peace out, my wonderful viewers. Hit that like and subscribe button, and peace out. Do you love awesome science fiction books? Of course you do. If you check out the links below the video, you can get yourself a copy of Comedy or Tragedy. Humans Are Weird. I have the data. Humans Are Weird. We took a vote, and Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out are the 3 comedy short story books available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo by Rakuten, Google Play. There's even some copies at Powell's Books, the famous used bookstore in Portland, Oregon. Dying Embers, dragons, aliens, and things that go boom in the night, and soon Flying Sparks, more dramatic traditional science fiction novels, are also available at Amazon. Flying Sparks is still on the pre-order page. If you want a copy, you can email me by contacting the website to pre-order yourself a copy. It's still being edited. So check out the links below the video to get yourself a copy of some wonderful science fiction.